had some technical problems.
Behind the curtain and letting you take a look at what it takes.
One, and we're live! Hey everybody, welcome to StreamGeeks Live. Wanted to give you a little behind the scenes look. Today we're talking about behind the scenes and in real life.
Yeah, today is all about, like I was just mentioning before, taking a look behind the curtain and what it takes to have a show like ours and live streaming shows in general and where behind the scenes it fits within all of that.
Yeah, if you've been bitten by the live streaming bug, as I've heard some folks mention it, you may know that what you start to look for when it's live and authentic, you actually kind of like to see the mistakes. You kind of like to see behind the scenes. And it's actually blown up so much that we're now starting to talk about what's called in real life. You can see Mike there producing the show. Thank you, everybody who's watching live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. But you start to enjoy your chance to look behind the scenes and see what folks are doing and how it's all being set up. So today we're going to be talking about behind the scenes, giving our audience the chance to go behind the scenes, why we're doing this, and why people are so interested in it. And then what is this IRL streaming, in real life streaming, that we're hearing so much about? I believe that the term originally came from Twitch and Twitch streamers actually discovering that their audience is more interested in that in real life look at who they are and what they do behind the scenes versus, them just playing games. And this whole kind of transformation has happened with live streaming technology. So we've really learned quite a bit from, the past few years of live streaming and what the industry how it's changed. So,
someone says that there's no audio. There's two people that says there's no audio.
Oh, fudge. Are you getting no audio? Can you test the Facebook?
1, 2, 1, 2.
We got this. And we'll switch back.
We're having an in real
Boop, boop,
life
boop.
issue right now.
Da, da, da. There should be audio.
You can hear me, right, Michael?
Paul's audio is low.
Okay. Ah, man, I hate doing this live. All right. We decided to do our...
We're showing real live.
Okay. So we decided to do a audio check like 2 minutes before. The audio is working. The thing is that our normal plugin for EQ is just really low. So I'm not going to add all of them. I'm just going to add this one that really boosts it up. There we go.
There you go.
Fix that up, and let's go to like 25. And then I'm also going to...
what about the channel mixer? Do you want to hit?
Yeah, I'm going to hit the channel matrix.
There you go.
My oh my.
In fact, I think this one...
This is certainly part of what makes our show
too hot. There we go.
authentic.
All right. You guys are getting a serious behind the scenes today. In fact, I think I still overdid it a little bit.
Why not have some troubleshooting live
There we go.
on the show?
All right. That's
about
how we
behind
set
the
up
scenes stuff.
the audio properly in real life and behind the scenes. All right. That, I think, and let us know in the chat, but I think that was actually warranted in a weird way.
There goes our job at ESPN.
Well, there you go, guys. You got a nice little behind the scenes of how it was all set up. Now, Mike's meme, Mike, we got to show your meme. Mike's meme has come true today, and we just got to look at this and just crack up about this for a second.
Yep, that's pretty accurate
This
today.
is straight up Mike right before every show, and there doesn't seem to be any way around it.
No matter how much time we spend in the studio beforehand, there's always something that comes up with live streaming in there.
And literally, Mike, I think you guys might have heard Mike say that through our microphone that was too low. Literally, he's like, "This is my meme. This is straight up my meme right now." Now, well, let's show my meme, Mike. Mine's pretty funny too. Here we go. Everyone's always making fun of me for not wearing pants.
Yup.
This is basically a seasonal thing from like summer on, where I like to wear shorts and sandals, and no one is the wiser. I'll even wear like a button-down shirt. everyone who does video conferencing and live streaming where it's like waist up, it's just
Yes.
a joke. Like, do you know if I'm wearing pants?
Because it's
No, you don't.
true. Because it's true.
It's just a funny joke that that everyone laughs about. And then there's one more little meme. This one's for Tess.
What we think we look like during our live shows as streamers versus what we actually look like on our live stream.
I know, and there you are being funny with lipstick on your teeth. But I've actually had a lot of times where I've got like an alfalfa going on, and people are making fun of it, and I have no idea. So you think you look great, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. So that's just a couple funny memes there, and then we wanted to chat briefly about why live streaming, taking your audience behind the scenes, getting that in real life audio and video. And in order to do that, see, I'm kind of muffling around a little bit. I wanted to jump on my phone and show you guys a little IRL stream from my phone and just show you guys what the picture looks like from my iPhone using the NDI camera app.
Howdy.
Oh, it looks really red compared to our other cameras.
There's nothing you can really do about that from the app, really. Maybe on
But
the color wheel we can.
Mike can use some. Can you color correct this, Mike? It's looking kind of. Oh, wow. So there's Mike already color correcting it. You want to show behind the scenes what you just did there? Because iPhones generally look pretty red. But what Mike does is he goes in and he pops in the color wheels there. As you can see right down there.
And so classic, like we had this up, like really, look how red Paul's face
Is this a new Tech NDI app?
Yeah, this is the NDI Cam app, which is working really smoothly on our network, as you can see.
There you go.
In fact, the quality's a lot better than I've seen previously.
Same.
It's pretty smooth,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
right? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, if we go all the way to super high quality, look at that. It starts to chug a little bit. The latency goes.
Yeah.
But
You
like
might as well.
halfway,
Perfect.
it's pretty smooth.
I mean, we're a little blown out, but there you go.
So quickly, Tess, let's show them a little bit of our studio. This is new. So we've put in this. This is also new right here.
I just hit my head on that.
Look at this. This is my new camera here. So there's the Z cam, and then Mike, can you switch to that? Boop. There we go. So this camera's new. This is our close-up camera. The lighting's not quite set up properly because we have changed the lighting to have lights there, there, and there. 'Cause we're usually doing one set or the other, but this is new. So we've got this cool, because if you think about it, during our live streams, generally I'm over here and making a presentation this way, and I'm talking a lot of times directly to Tess. So we're hoping that, I don't think there was much bounce of audio back to here, but if there was any as I'm talking, projecting and talking towards Tess, that might, and, it just
And that
kinda
wall
looks
wasn't
cool.
really doing much for us anyways, so it's like, why not try something over there? So that's basically what happened with that.
So yeah, we got that going on, and that's our little in real life stream. But it really does kind of bring you into the space, I feel like, and maybe fill in some of the space and gaps, that you might not otherwise be able to see.
Yeah, well, it's important to think about, okay, you're doing the purpose of your show in general, whatever the content is that you produce, the quality and whatnot is important, and the information that you're providing is important. But there's also some value that comes with live streaming, is the ability to be yourself, show some personality, and some unscripted, authentic, transparent views of yourself, your product, your brand, your passion. And that's kind of where this behind the scenes and in real life streaming comes into play. So we like to do a healthy mix of both. And sometimes more than others, there is a healthy mix of both, even in what we had planned to be more professional. But a lot of the times we see a really positive feedback from that, because people enjoy seeing sort of the unscripted, off the cuff, humane, everybody's human issues that we do have.
So, as always, of course, we have a couple tech issues in the beginning of the show, but we've gotten through them, and I think it's so funny because we proved Mike's meme to be true. If anyone's out there who does live streaming, you know, especially from a producer's perspective, I think that it's always, I don't know if it's ever not going to be at least a little bit of a struggle because we're talking about live content. There's a lot of value to it. Now, I will say that one of the ways to take the pressure off and still get a lot of value is we'll do a live stream, like a live video production of a recorded, sorry, not a live stream, a live recording. And what I mean by that is if Tess and I have a presentation, like we have a big church live streaming giveaway coming up soon. We're going to give away a lot of technology to one lucky church, and it's going to be announced at the Orlando WFX show in November. And we need to create like a 2 to 3 minute commercial about it. And to do that, we'll probably do the commercial like in a live recording. And that takes a lot of the pressure off. It's like, all right, let's wait till you're ready. We don't have to like start at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Well, if you're investing in this type of equipment and a live streaming studio, you might as well use it to its full advantage. And a system like we have, you can record and stream. So there you go. You kind of got your recorded content from the system as well as the live content.
Now, one of the other things it takes, if we're talking about kind of the pressure that is on a producer, for larger events and bigger spaces, what a lot of people will do is they will split up the responsibilities between 2 to 3 people. So, yes, it's pretty amazing that Mike can sit here and not only switch the cameras, manage all of the streaming, he actually, you can see he's controlling the pan, tilt, and zoom of multiple cameras, and he's color correcting a lot of the time, which potentially could be split up into multiple jobs.
Absolutely.
So, very frequently, especially for live events with a lot of action going on, there'll be one director, right? Call them a director. Sometimes they're called a producer, director. And I think it's called AP, assistant producer or something like that, executive producer.
Yeah, Lottie was commenting and said, well, at least you guys actually have a producer. I mean, imagine just being a DIY producer presenter.
Oh, gosh.
It's hard
I know.
to troubleshoot live.
Imagine.
So we are very thankful for that.
A lot of people actually are playing a video game, trying to stream. Like, imagine that. They're playing a video game. Now, of course,
there's
people
some switching involved.
They cut them a little slack.
Yeah.
Streaming, talking to an audience, thanking an audience for what they're doing, and now
remote guest.
they've got a Skype guest. I mean, it can get pretty tricky. So eventually, I think a lot of people in this industry are trying to push the limits. They're doing Skype guests. They're doing audio routing.
The fact that we're streaming to a place like Facebook or YouTube. It's a social media platform, so the audience do tend to be a little bit more forgiving there because it's kind of a laid-back place to go.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with social media in general. Sometimes you could be a little bit more fun and spunky rather than, in a professional business setting, even as like a social media marketer.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's kind of the point of social media is to show the personality of your brand.
I have two
okay.
things. For esports, if in the future, if esports got so huge, you have somebody looking out for the computer itself that runs the game.
Yes, you have one
like
streamer.
And then someone like a towel boy being like, you're sweating a lot.
A towel boy wiping the hands of the gamer. Yeah, I mean, we were talking a little bit about splitting up the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's definitely a producer. And I'm thinking of Vid Summit. And it was me and David Foster from Live Streaming Pros. He was really the producer. He was picking shots, doing lower thirds. Once the streams were connected, they were connected. And then you've definitely got a separate cameraman. And today's day and age, that one cameraman can definitely operate 2 or 3 different like PTZ cameras.
You can even have a PTZ camera operator.
Yeah, it's not like for this situation, it wasn't like a camera operator behind a camera.
Mm-hmm.
It was a camera operator whose job's probably a little bit more relaxed than a freaking dedicated cameraman, where just switching between the 2 or 3 cameras, the one main camera on the stage goes right to left. slowly as they follow the person walking. It was really difficult following around Gary Vaynerchuk, who was like pacing left and right like crazy.
Yeah.
But so those are the two main people, and then there may be a third who's just watching the stream, looking at the audience, double checking the audio, potentially running cards up to the presenters saying, hey, there's only 15 minutes left, or a third person potentially. But usually the teams are a lot smaller than I think they have been in the past because of all the things that you can do with technology.
Lottie in the chat says, how do you cope when you have teams around the world and in different studios?
I'm glad you asked that question, Lottie. So that is actually an amazing new thing that you can do today, is that you can connect teams all across the world, not just with like a chat system. So whether we're talking about Google Chat or Skype or something like that, connecting people, but there is cloud-based video production systems that allows an executive producer or the producer to actually mix together multiple studios. So this is what a television studio does, especially live television, like Fox or something like that. They're essentially patching in a stream from reporters at the stormfront or on the streets. Then they're patching back to the studio. Then they're pulling in a Skype caller to do something. Then they're switching to B-roll, which is commercials. Then they're switching to another show or whatever, and they're calling all those shots. Now, you can do that today in the cloud with the software that costs about $100 a month, which is called Easy Live. And what it does is it's essentially an online platform. You can not only can you connect your teams to have one person just managing social media, and then another person just managing, mixing of all the streams. You can have all of your different people, whether you have different soccer stadiums or different cameras going from different spots, mixing them all together so everyone RTMP streams to the cloud. It's all mixed in the cloud, streaming to Facebook, YouTube, all the different places. But you can also have, like, let's say, teams that are spread out, all working on the same login dashboard, and have one person saying, oh, let's just take that 30-second clip of Donald Trump saying something crazy and let's post that to Twitter. And let's post little snippets so that we can get something to go viral and drive all that traffic back to the live stream. And just having dispersed teams all across the country or the world cooperating on a single live event.
If you're lucky enough to have that kind of manpower, then you're really fortunate. In response to Rudy saying that's kind of what he's struggling with his channel, searching for content preparation, switching, managing the website, social media, all on his own.
Yeah.
It can be exhausting, and we know that. The Threes company over here is kind of a sweet spot for us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's now that Rudy mentioned that, we probably should, let's take a step back and just think about, like, so we did our memes of me, Tess, and Michael, but why don't we explain our roles really quickly? Mike doesn't have a microphone.
A microphone.
So let's just
Mike.
We'll start with Mike. Mike's not gonna be able to explain it because he doesn't have a microphone, but Mike is our producer. He also does video production, and he has changed the game for us because before Mike, if you guys remember, over a year ago, I was producing live on camera.
Just what Rudy's talking about.
And so, Rudy, I know what it feels like. That was a huge step forward for us.
And we pitched that it can be done. Absolutely. Yeah. It can.
We've done it, and it is potentially where a lot of people start.
Yeah, but of course, if you have the ability to have a producer, that's ideal.
And I did write about it in our StreamGeeks book. Like, there's a lot of little tricks and tips on how, if you are basically looking at a camera with a keyboard and mouse and trying to make a presentation and clicking a few buttons. You can have shortcuts. You can cut to B-roll. A lot of times you don't want to be on camera because you're doing stuff. So maybe you're on camera for an intro, you cut to B-roll, voiceover, and then you're on camera for an outro. I used to do that a lot. But now when we've got, and then the other big step for me, if you're in Rudy's case, was just having a co-host. And then I remember slowly, like Tess, for like your first couple of shows, like I was doing most of the talking and I was just cutting to you for a segment. And you were doing the social media segment, and then more and more we got more uncomfortable, and then now you're, basically 50-50 holding the show with me. So that was a big step. So we've taken different steps, and now, and then we just had a conversation about people having dispersed teams all across the world and having 20 people work on the same live stream. This is a very large, multi-billion-dollar industry, and there's people all over the map doing all kinds of interesting things.
I think it's good because you kind of like a radio host, like drive the direction for the show and know the main points and everything. I'm there to monitor social media as well as commentate on what the conversation you're starting is, and Michael's there to produce. So it's kind of 3 is a good number. Though, Michael, do you think that you could use another person? I mean, say if the ability to bring on another person,
like a cameraman, maybe.
Like a cameraman or an associate producer.
I stole Mike's microphone. I feel really bad.
No, it's okay. I feel like in a live show right now, I would more like support staff, like someone do like graphic design,
Some support, graphics.
Like pre-production or post-production.
Pre-production.
Dedicated to audio and lighting.
Yeah.
Someone just dedicated to audio and lighting.
And lighting,
that would be a good.
Our lighting could
that would be a
definitely
good thing if we had a production intern.
And we're definitely
Which maybe
looking into that. I mean, the whole social media thing of monitoring. If you're not don't have somebody, you specifically cannot live without somebody monitoring your social media chat rooms for sure.
Well, yeah, when you had to do it by yourself.
I literally would be like just trying my best, but and how do you do it? I don't know. Yeah, I mean this is a great look at seeing, and I think the draw. I mean the we're actually coming to the end of our show here, but the draw is bringing people behind the scenes. Don't forget that you can bring people behind the scenes. We will enjoy the behind the scenes. In fact, it's time for our behind the scenes post show. I know this conversation was a little bit all over the map. You really got a quick close up look at how the StreamGeeks operate and what our show is like, what it is to be behind the scenes, and I think that definitely people are going to watch this and go, wow, so that's like where they came from. We have a whole book about it, but like where we came from is just me streaming in front of a camera to adding a co-host to getting a producer to taking teams of people dispersed around the whole world. That's kind of the gist of what's possible and where you can take this. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on our post show.
That means extra.